But, like I said in my tweet, there is no off season, so I'm here. I'm talking Hueys. I'm chopping it up every Tuesday night with my boy, Alec Keyser.
Hell yeah, let's talk Hoosies. Brad, by far the biggest thing that happened in the last week in terms of Indiana Hoosiers would be the fact that strength and conditioning coach Derek Owings signed a new contract due to the advances of USC. This is something that we've been talking about, not just the Derek Owens thing, but the fact that other programs are coming in trying to poach Indiana coaches. That's nothing new. We've been talking about it for what feels like a year. I've been writing about it. Indiana fans have been feeling it for what feels like forever. But you wonder what the biggest difference in Kurt Cignetti's Indiana football is versus what the country has gotten used to Indiana football being. Look no further than the Derek Owings handlings. You can't even call it a saga. It didn't last long enough. Before we jump into kind of the back and forth, it happened in about a span of 5 hours, Brad. What was your heart rate? Like, how did the news hit you? Were you nervous at all? What'd
It
you
was
think?
funny because I wasn't nervous at all. Like, it was like typically, like, as an Indiana fan, you should be when your coach, like when Haynes and Shanahan and whoever, like, obviously Tino ended up leaving, but that was a clear promotion, becoming the play caller at UCLA, a job that's just not available at Indiana right now. Yeah, first off, fuck Southern Cal, Figueroa Tech, whatever you want to call them. Yeah, fuck them. They were talking mad smack online, talking about how they're the superior program and how they can get any coach they want from inferior programs. It's like, homie, Reggie Bush was 20 years ago. like, what have you guys actually done? 0 CFPs to my knowledge. I think that's a fact. No stat correction needed there. But yeah, this idea that, USC can go in and just take whoever they want may apply to some other schools, but definitely not Indiana right now. And it's clear as day. We've seen it all off season. Ohio State, Penn State, USC, they come marching in, and guess who has the bigger bag? We do. Kelly's School of Business, shout out. Yeah, we just have more money. Yeah, I'm glad we were able to keep him. It's a huge win, just keeping all that continuity in, because obviously, okay, let's say Derek Owings does leave. We replace him with his assistant, probably try to keep the same system. But at the end of the day, it's not the same. You hear this Derek Owings guy talk, like his path is going from Indiana job to the NFL. I mean, you just hear how he talks about how he approaches the weight room and the conditioning and everything like that. We've all seen the clips, especially as they were circulating during all this buzz. But I mean, it's just been a common thing for Indiana. We're just able to keep throwing bags out there. I had a buddy in one of my group chats. He might be on this watching right now, so I dropped it in that chat. But they're telling me, will I be upset when? Because I was talking about Sig. Will I be upset when he goes to LSU? And which I responded with everything that I've been saying. Like, I'm not worried about the dumb Hicks down in Louisiana. I'm just not.
Oh,
I'm just not.
We don't gotta insult.
I'm just not. I'm just not worried about them. I'm sorry. All right, maybe that was a little bit overboard, but I'm not worried about LSU. I'm not. I think it's at a point with Indiana. It's very clear. We've seen it over and over again. Whatever Sig wants, he gets. He wants $2 more mil a year. He's getting $2 more mil a year. I think Sig's found a home. He's not, I don't, as much of a rah guy as he is, I actually don't see him as like, I need that Bama job. I need that Georgia job. I don't see him.
No,
as
he's
that
much
type
more
of
of an
guy.
I'm going to turn Indiana into what Bama was, what Georgia
he said
was.
it on national television already. We're the rising superpower in college football. Why would he leave? He already said it. No, if he leaves, he looks like an absolute bozo. And yeah, so go ahead. I truly believe he's too old to go to another job after this. That's honestly the reality. He's just too old to go somewhere else.
Circling the conversation back to Derek Owings, because this is kind of along that same point. I was having the conversation with my dad because when the news initially hit, I can't lie, when I saw it on Twitter, when you see headlines like that, they're usually like the deal is done, wink, wink, like we're just waiting for semantics. So my first initial reaction was like, oh shit. But then like you think about it and you think about the Brian Haynes situation, you think about how they handled Cignetti, extending him as early as possible, extending the assistants 2 weeks after. Brian Haynes was being pursued by multiple big time programs. They shoot all those programs away too. So my dad was like, are you surprised this is what they did? This is exactly what they've been doing for the last year. And I was like, I don't know if I was surprised, maybe more so shocked. The fact that you can have a school like USC who clearly wasn't paying attention, thinking that they can just waltz on over into Bloomington and put a pile of money on the table and walk away with an elite coach. In the past, that's exactly what you could do to Indiana, but that was before Kurt Signetti.
Yeah. I do see it as a positive for USC because this is a program that let's call spade a spade. They've killed it in recruiting for the past 20 years since the Pete Carroll days. And time again, they underachieve with that talent. Moving on from their strength and conditioning coach, whoever that was, I don't know his name, but moving on from him, who I based on the context of what I was reading, has probably been there since pre-Lincoln Riley. So they finally let him go.
He started working with Lincoln Riley in 2018. I'm spacing on his name, but I wrote it in I think Brody Weil maybe is his name.
Okay, so he was with him at Oklahoma.
Yeah.
So he let him go.
But there was a lot of Oklahoma.
Reason, at least they're going for the right guy. Like Derek Owings,
no, 100%
guy in college football right now.
Their process was
Bama
correct.
Guys who were also like, remember 4 years ago, Bama poached our strength and conditioning staff under Tom Allen. That happened, which is why you were probably scared. I wasn't.
Yeah.
I knew.
Well, if scared is the wrong word. Initial shock factor being like, oh damn, like I didn't even like because. Obviously, and this was the conclusion I came to when I was writing the article. It's on thevoiceofcollegefootball.com, vocfb.com. Check it out. Of course, when to your point, USC's process was correct. They arrived on the right guy. The problem for them was that Indiana isn't messing around. Like it's been a fundamental shift from the university that they're just not going to be pushed around anymore in terms of when they have something good, they're going to keep it together. So like there was actually, I feel like now,
like if you're gonna throw the bag at Haynes and Shanahan and the whole staff, like what we're just gonna stop at Owings? Like that doesn't make any sense at all.
No, and he's arguably he's one of the most important people associated with the program.
Any position coach that we have, like let's just call spade a spade there.
It's not insulting to say the person
probably goes Owings, right? In terms of importance, like.
He spends the most amount of time with the team in the offseason. He is the main driver for the physical development of the football team. Like it is, you cannot understate how important that guy is. And I know what you said before, like maybe he just promote his assistant. It's typically not how it goes. Like I feel like these guys take their best guys with them. So you have to bring in a whole new staff. And at this point in the season, or at this point in the offseason, doable, yes, but I mean, for USC specifically, like you miss it's a whole window of off-season conditioning that you feel like you just fucked up.
100%.
That's not great.
Yeah, and if we're gonna we keep saying it, catch the likes of Ohio State, Michigan, Oregon, and Penn State, who we've said is probably the tier 1 of the league, where Indiana's at tier 2, looking to get there, knocking on the door. He's critical for us to get through that door into tier 1. He's absolutely critical. So an absolute huge win for the university. I called out Pam Whitten and Scott Dolson when I saw the news. I told them to grab the checkbook, and I think they listened. I think they're paying attention.
A lot of people were saying grab the checkbook, and I think the comforting thing for Indiana fans is the way the news broke and the way the execution happened. One tells me that Owings has a great agent. And 2, that the university was full blown on top of this. And before anyone could tweet out, grab the checkbook, they were in the checkbook. That's comforting because this happened really, really fast. Like this wasn't even like it was real. They made an advance, and it was like they got like it was like Derrick Henry running down the field. Like they stood no chance. They got stiff armed into oblivion. It was really, really impressive stuff from the Indiana administration, and again, speaks volumes to the direction that the program's going, which brings me to the reaction we got from we were asked a question in the chat last week. Basically, should Indiana be going into this season thinking Big Ten championship or bust? And while obviously I think like we talked about last week, even if you go 10-2, you might not make the Big Ten championship, but that's still considered a good.
We said 11-1. That's what happened to us.
Yeah. it's still a good season. But I think a lot of people maybe had. I think it made people nervous, almost like we're shooting too high or asking for too much. But like this is, I got news for some Indiana Hoosier fans that might be on the fence about maybe caring too much or getting too invested in this program. Like this is a good football team. Like this is a really good football team. They have an elite quarterback who's
Program.
generating, yeah, elite football program, and the recruiting buzz they've been generating. They had a ton of visits over the weekend, high impact visits, including a commit over the weekend, which we'll get to in a little bit. But like this is, get used to feeling the pressure, feeling uncomfortable, or feeling nervous, because this is the realm that Kurt Signetti has brought Indiana football to, and it's not changing. Like that doesn't. I actually it's asinine that they're being underappreciated or underthought of or disrespected even going into this football season, because like anyone who's paying attention will tell you that something special is happening in Bloomington, and like they're just going to be like, get used to it. These are the conversations that are going to be happening.
Yeah, you can only see so many green flags without seeing any red flags to realize what's going on, you know. What's up, Fat Boy 44?
But yeah, I think like that's it. Big Ten or bust is probably like what the room is thinking, and that's what I want my football team thinking. Like I bringing up and like yeah, that's
yeah, they're there to have that mindset. We're here to maybe keep it a little more realistic. I'm telling you, that's what they're thinking. That's truly what they're thinking. But like I said, like you drop one game in the Big Ten, you can miss the championship game. So like to just put the or bust on it, it's more so like I don't think we can't win the Big Ten championship. It's more so like the or bust thing. Like I think it's playoff or bust. I think in this era of college football, just being in the Big Ten, like that's how it is. It's like making the tournament is way more important than winning the Big Ten tournament or even winning the Big Ten for that matter, in my opinion.
Here's
In
where I was going
basketball.
with
So
that
it's like it's kind of like the same, it's like equal to that. Just make
yeah, I was
the dance. That's all you gotta do.
100%. Here's where I was going when I just completely lost train of thought. When like these are the type like the and or bust type of conversation that scares a lot of the Indiana fans are the conversations you want to be having about your football team when they're in like good, like this is a highly competitive, like really good team that it's okay to set high expectations for. Like they have it themselves. Like this, like they're going into the season expecting to win. Like it's okay if the fan base goes in like a little bit more excited, maybe not as cautious as I'm just like, to me, it's all gas, no brakes with this team. Like I'm just, like you said, how many green flags do you need to see before you just are full blown on board? And I don't care how many pundits or like media people or even people like us like want to discount what they did last year and who they did it with and the offseason they had, but this is a good football team.